Who would like to be a much better presenter and that when you get in front of a crowd, you don't give a fuck what anybody says or thinks or does, and that they're all ready to buy? Yeah? And you lead them to your offer, whether it's a free offer, whether it's a paid offer, but they feel it and they're ready the moment you open your mouth. Yeah? How would you like that? Yeah. Just to let you know, I have sweaty pits right now and I don't give a fuck, even though I know you can't see. But that was my main fear when I would present, is have it sweaty pits and I'd pee my pants. And I don't feel like I need to pee my pants, but I am sweaty and I embrace it and I'm okay with it. So how nice would it be to have your largest fears even happen and you just don't even care? And you just have fun, and you can tell, people can tell you're passionate about what you do. So that's what I want to kind of get you to by the end today and give you some golden nuggets to really apply. And first I want to share with you a story, because I kind of gave you a little hook in my little video if you listen to it. But I've been networking about 3 to 5 times a week because I am like ready to get my message out there. I was trying the online thing and I'm doing it in person. So I don't know if you guys have heard of BNI, a BNI networking group. It's a networking group that you can pay for annually, and you get up and you can do a 30-second pitch. 30-second pitch of what you do, and it's all about giving referrals back and forth to people, okay? So I live in Utah. Sex is totally taboo. It's very taboo in the majority of the state. Nobody talks about it. They're very uneducated. And it's even scary to talk about and get yourself in front of people, at least so I thought, right? But here's the thing. So I get in front of these people, and well, first off, when I walk in the room, everybody has the like, whoa, you talk about what? Like, what is that? Okay. So you want to wow them with your message. So if your message isn't sexy enough that it commands a room, you need to make your message sexy, first of all, where it grabs a person's attention. Okay. So I get up, and you can come once a week. And usually, if you apply, which I applied, they get you in pretty quick. I get up there and share my message that I help people transcend their sensuality and that I help them have better sex in the bedroom and have more fulfillment. And there's laughing, there's cackling, there's all of a sudden everybody's pitch turns into sexual innuendos, which is really great for me because now they're selling me, right? That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. So after everything's said and done, they accept me into their BNI group. I go to pay for it, and I get this call. Oh my gosh, Camilla, I'm really sorry. I hate to give you this call, but you're actually rejected. There was a handful of women that came forward and said that they're being triggered by your message, that the sexual innuendos is too much. It has nothing to do about you. It's what you're selling. Some thought I was selling sex toys, which we know that NLP is not sex toys, right? So lots of fears around it. And I'm like, those are my people. Those are the people I need to help. But I got a text from this guy. He said, holy shit, Camilla, you commanded an entire room. And what happened after that, you guys, my last time I went there, people were coming to me. They're like coming to my workshop. They're like, I need help. All of a sudden, the buzz is going because I commanded attention, and they may not have been all my people, but my people were in that room, and that's who my message is going to. And I want to trigger people so that, because those are the triggers that command attention and you get buzzed about. So when you get in front of people and you have your message that lights you up and you're excited about it, that's going to change everything for you. So when you're putting your message together, if those words, if every word you're writing down is not lighting you up, you need to switch your message so that it lights you up. Your body is lighting up, okay? Like my legs are lighting up right now as I share this message, you know? Get your whole body involved. I'd even say your dick and your pussy, talk with it. Make it sexy so people get turned on. Okay? You got me, right? Yes. So, how do you do that? First of all, if you don't know what you want to achieve in your presentation, your audience never will. So, number one, you got to write down what is your intention. So, my intention today is to help you unlock your authenticity. What's your authentic message? How do you bring harmony within yourself and if within your message? And then how do you align it? How do you align your message? Okay. How do you get yourself turned on to your message and other people turned on to your message? And it's not going to turn everybody on, it's going to turn on your people. Those are the people you're talking to. So, have you ever noticed speakers that are totally off, totally like, it's like there's this certain type of people that they're taught a certain way, so they move a certain way, they are a certain way, and some people are like kind of robotic and just not authentic to themselves. I'm telling you the not way to be. Okay? That's not what you want to be. So delete that unconscious mind, and now I'm going to tell you how to be. Okay? So number one is authenticity. So imagine a diamond. Okay, imagine a diamond. We are all born a diamond when we come onto this earth. We're authentic. We're this bright, brilliant diamond, full of worth. You're rare, completely unique. See, you can even say weird things and you don't give a shit. Okay, embrace it. So you're this diamond, and when things happen as a child, you know, maybe you're told you're not good enough, or you're not skinny enough, or you have a slurred speech, or whatever the hell it is. And all this crap and poo starts getting piled on your diamond. Okay. And then more stuff and more stuff. And all these external events are actually making it so that you're not authentic. You're not sparkling anymore as much anymore. Well, to become authentic, that's why you use NLP, timeline therapy, HUNA, whatever it is, to start scraping away the layers. Melissa, you said you don't know who you are. You actually do know who you are. It's the layers that you've accepted that you need to start taking off so you can start shining like the bright diamond that you are and always have been. You've always been there. Start scraping it away. Okay, so your message should be so clear to yourself. Who cares about other people? It's clear to you. Because when you speak clearly with yourself, that message will come out authentically to your audience and hit those people that have the crap and poo that need your help. Okay, so make sure a really great way of doing this is finding the most natural place that lights you up to write your presentation. So I went to the mountains. The mountains are like my favorite place. I love the smells, I love the feel, all of that stuff. So I went to the mountains to write my presentation for you guys. And then when you get into that place, get out of your office. Okay? You don't need to represent yourself professionally yet. So go to the authentic place where you can be that diamond and shine in that environment to write your presentation if you haven't done it. And if you already started your presentation, find that place and continue to write and put it together. Okay? So there's three things. There's persona, ego, and shadow that you need to be really aware of. Okay, you've probably heard these words before. Persona is the extension of your ego, but it's the mask that you wear. You've heard of we wear several hats, right? Well, we also wear masks, and there's nothing wrong with a mask. The point is that when you go into different places, like I'm going to present differently. If I took this presentation and presented it in front of you, I'm going to present it totally different somewhere else. So which mask do you want to wear and make it so clear that this is who you are and who you represent? because the goal isn't to take off the mask. It's actually to get it so clear that it's the clearest example of you. And it feels good to just say, here's who I am. This is who I am. Accept me, reject me. I don't give a fuck, because this is what you get. And your people will come to you. So your persona is going to actually shine through and show you who you are. And you're going to see your people in the audience. They'll start perking up. They're going to be nodding their head. Those are your people. Those are the people you want to connect with after your presentation. So take note. Take note. Okay, so the other one is your ego. So who you think you are is your ego, who you yourself thinks you are, who you identify as. And a healthy ego, a healthy one, is yourself that's super healthy, that you love, that you light up about, that you can look in the mirror and say, I love that. Everything else is just your ego. And you can just tell your ego to take the back seat and give it a new task. Like maybe your ego actually needs to pay attention to those people that are nodding their heads yes, and tell your ego to remember those people during your presentation and to go talk to those people after. That's what your ego can do for you. So your ego is really, really important, but being egotistical is not. Being egotistical is an unhealthy identification of yourself. So all of that shit, just tell your ego, get rid of it, delete it, and sit in the back seat and pay attention to the things I need you to pay attention to. Okay? Connect with the people that need you. Then there's your shadow. Your shadow is everything that's not you. So if you don't show up with who you are, then that's your shadow showing up. And there's nothing wrong with a shadow. Everything that's not you. So Greg is my shadow. He's not me, therefore he's my shadow. But I want to look at all the great qualities in Greg and each one of you of who I am not, because that's my shadow and I want to pay attention to all of those good things. So your shadow also comes up with things that you may not necessarily like those visions of my sweaty pits that used to really bother me and embarrass me. Those were my shadow things that I needed to get rid of so I wouldn't give a fuck about. And really show up and just be fully in myself, fully into my presentation. And those things you really, really want to pay attention to, because you want to harmonize everything within yourself and within your message. And if you don't pay attention to the imbalance or all of those things that are going inside of you or outside of you, then those things can actually magnify and even duplicate. So you want to make sure of the not you that you don't like showing up. And those are the things you want to work on. If everything's clear for you, awesome. You got nothing to really then your message is good. So what about your message is not lighting you up, making you turn on, and really driving passion for you? So that leads me to the second thing, which is harmony. Harmony within yourself and your message. There's dichotomies. Have you guys ever heard of dichotomies? Basically, they're like a division or a contrast between one or two or more things going on. And they're represented, they oppose each other. They're entirely different. You might think this is kind of like parts integration, like part of you this and part of you that, but this is different. This is more like something that is out of harmony, and it keeps popping up into your mind. Like, do you guys ever focus on what you do not want? And it's not so much focus, it just keeps popping up and you're like, what the heck? Why does this popping up? and you can't help it, but it just keeps popping up. Those are dichotomies. Those are the things that you can there's a lot you can do to permanently remove them. So the things that you don't want. Other examples could be like maybe your male and female energies are off. They're out of balance, right? That's an example too. And how do we even know what that is? Yes, we can educate ourselves, but within yourself, you can tell if your female and male energy are out of harmony. Or what about like the things that you keep focusing on? Okay, when you think of your presentation, what are those things that you keep imagining that are going to happen, and those feelings that you keep, those are the disharmony things that you need to be paying attention to, because once you start actually presenting and you feel so good about your presentation and you can imagine there's nothing in the way of it, that's where you want to be. Nothing, like all of it is just good, clean energy, clean thinking. It's all perfect. And yes, perfection is a thing in the way that it's authentic to you, it's harmonious and in alignment. Whatever that looks like to you, whatever that sounds like, however that feels to you, that is it. And you want to lock it in place. See what I'm doing here? And you can start anchoring people too. Okay. So when you connect your message, who you are, and everything, you can stand up proudly and share your message in any sort of way, and people will start following you. They will start seeing you for who you are. Not that it matters, but it does at the same time. It's a paradox. Okay, so harmonizing the dichotomies within you, it's actually going to lead you into more of a clear path. Because I tell you what, I've stood up on stage and it has taken me to a whole new path that I did not expect. So whatever your message is going to be, it could lead you to the very thing that you're searching for. Speaking is a gateway to accelerating your path. So have you guys ever seen when someone's on their path and it just seems like everything just goes so smooth and it's just like boom, 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 boom? Greg is one of them. And it's just like, damn, they're just unstoppable. Everything just magnetizes toward them. This is harmony. This is being on their path. Do they have things that get in the way? Yeah, but all those obstacles are and things, just like when you walk on fire and you get kisses on your feet, they're kissing you to show you something that you need to learn. So things that are natural, things that feel good, that light you up, that turn you on, you're going to find the same people that all of a sudden you're inspiring in your message, and it's going to take you on your path to accelerate it. So alignment is 3. Being on your path and being in complete alignment with your message is in alignment, because you speak with your voice, which your voice is 5% of language. So imagine your body language. What are you, giving to them? So you want your whole body, everything to be in alignment with your message. And when you do that, it's actually connected to source. It's connected to whatever you believe in, source, God, a higher power, the universe. You connect it with that. Because when you connect it with that and harmoniously, there's a process I learned in Huna. It's amazing. It's called the Keave process. The Keave process takes any type of dichotomy. Maybe it's focusing on what you don't want, things that keep popping up, and it actually harmonizes everything within, and then you connect with source and you get rid of any dichotomies, and your message becomes full of what the source of who you are should be and ought to be. which turns you on. Oh, I'm getting chills in my legs. You should be getting, what is your way? Ask yourself, what is your way that confirms to you that you are on your path, that you are speaking the message that you are meant to speak? Those feelings, those thoughts, those are the very things that when you're preparing it, you light up. Then you know you're on your path and it's in alignment. So, you know the 4 planes. Hopefully Greg's taught it to you. If not, this might be a little something new. So there's 4 planes. There's the spiritual plane, the mental plane, the emotional plane, and the physical plane. So NLP is the mental plane. So you want to make sure you're clearing all the mental aspects that stand in your way. Like it could just be those thoughts, maybe that, oh my gosh, I'm going to get sweaty pits. And how do I navigate that? Am I okay with that? Collapse, embarrassment, whatever it is, right? With anchors. Then you've got the emotional plane. What kind of emotions are you afraid? What kind of fears do you have? You've got to use timeline therapy to get rid of those fears. Okay. Then there's the physical. I'll talk about that. But what about the spiritual plane? Puna is a spiritual plane connecting to source. So you want to, in whatever way that you do, or if you're not entirely sure how to, you can book a call with me if you would like, and I can show you some things and show you how to kind of like get to that spiritual plane. But everything in the spiritual, mental, and emotional is going to manifest physically. So clearing and aligning all 4 planes will actually create the alignment and all integration of self, both mind, body, soul, spiritual, all of it. That's what you want to create. So you want to actually train your neurology so it can be aware of the higher vibration energies by becoming more conscious, and connect your message to your higher self, your higher power, the highest version of who you could be in this very moment of giving your presentation. And the Kayave process, I do higher self meditation too. I do it every single day. And especially for at least 21 days straight, then it's all aligned. It's all authentic. It's harmonious. That's where you want it to be. If it's not lighting you up, you want to get it to that place. What are the ways you're visioning things? How are you feeling about it? Get it? Yeah? Is this helpful? Yeah? Good, 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 good. So, what kind of questions do you guys have? Anything you want to add?
What about question, what about so when we first, and I'm projecting here, but when we first begin our journey, we're excited to share back.
Yes.
But it's like just a whole bunch of excitement. But it's like, what advice could you give or would you share with everyone on like how do we get it from like we're just excited and we just want to help people to like channeling it down into finding out what is that clarity of that message going to be? What could you share around that to help the people that are just like a ball of energy and excitement to kind of chunking down a bit?
I like it. Yes. So when you're having a ball of energy, actually, it's the greatest place to be. I've gotten the most clients. I think more of the question is, how do you keep accelerating it and keeping it constant all the way? Because if you can hold the line and consistently be excited, if in those down times, if it doesn't become exciting, that's because there's something in your message you need to either add, subtract, or refine that passion. Because sometimes things get old after a while, right? So what's that next new level process and message that's going to just make you passionate again? Because even for a little while, I was having a lot of passion and excitement in my new niche, and I held it for about 4 years, and then it got to a point where it was kind of fading for me, and I had to re-find it, and it oddly wasn't helping people transcend their sensuality. So sometimes we have to even change our identity and who we are and what our message is that lights us back up again, and constantly be sailing and excited and share that message, and find more. If you need to do free sessions with people, if you need to do some free things to re-spark that again, what is your strategy? What is your love strategy? I think in Master Prac, when Greg teaches, you probably taught the buying strategy to them. First, they see something, then they're either feel something or make sense of something, one of those either before or after each other. So you can find that also in your love strategy. What is the strategy you need to run that lights you up in your business, in your message? What do you need to see? And get yourself in that state, put yourself in the environment first. So I went in the mountains. Put yourself in an environment that lights you up and turns you on. If you need to go have sex and it's turning you on and you need to go do that, you can actually take the intention. I want this kind of energy because sex is the highest frequency of energy there is. And you could actually take that intention into the bedroom and find out what you find out there.
Yeah, that's powerful. I think someone else might have a question. I'm gonna dive back in. I got another one. I love how you talk about that. Napoleon Hill talked about transmutating sexual energy, and I'm only like just scratching the surface, but I'm a big firm believer in that. What would you say? What could you share around? So when someone presented to me one time, like, what's the worst that could happen? Like for a while, I thought like, don't think about the negative things or the bad things or the, and someone presented me like, what's the worst that could happen? I'm like, write them out. And then like, first of all, like some of them just kind of disappear when I even just like consciously realized that I was unconsciously holding that as a fear. But then the other thing is like, once we identified like, well, these things could actually happen and they would suck. And then someone asked me like, well, what would you do if that happened? Well, I would do this. Okay, you ready to move forward? And it made it like so like, oh shit, that's not as big as I thought it was.
Yes.
What can you share? I heard you talk about it a little bit. I forget your exact words, but identifying what are those fears that I have and then collapsing them. Could you share just a little bit more in that realm?
Yes. Could you rephrase it one more time
Yeah, yeah,
in
yep.
a nutshell?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I definitely did a lot there. How would you help someone identify? How would you help people on this call consciously identify any fears holding them back from presenting? And once they were able to consciously identify them, what would you recommend they do with them?
Okay, so when we became a trainer, we had to actually write down all our fears. Mine was sweaty pits, I'm gonna pee my pants. One was that I shared my message because I grew up in a very abusive home. Can't even compare it to Greg's, but in my world, it was just as equal to Greg's. And I was very scared that if I shared my story, someone in the audience would get in a really negative state and it would trigger the hell out of them. And I actually acted that out at trainers training after I let all my shit go. And that happened. And I was so calm and peaceful and I got the learnings. So honestly, sometimes it's acting it out. Acting it out. I'm actually acting one out right now. And I've got 2 months to act it out. Cause I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna either do this or I'm not. And I'm gonna tell my unconscious mind, like, no, really, like, this is really what's gonna happen if you don't do this. So when you've got something to fucking lose, go do it. Cause what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You go bankrupt? I did that one. It was really cool because I had this phobia in my mind behind bankruptcy. And it was seriously like a huge phobia of mine. So I began to act it out. And it's better to act it out than to do it. For real. So when you act it out, make something so big in your mind it scares the living fuck out of you and go take it across the fire.
I love that. That is so powerful. Acting it out in our mind, because a lot of times we give it power by not evaluating it, by not auditing it. And when we
Yeah.
audit it through, a lot of times we find out it's so much smaller than what we thought it was. Jason or Kevin, did you guys have questions, or anyone else for that matter?
No,
Yeah, I
man, I
did.
just do that a lot too. In my line of work, whenever something comes up and I got to do it, I'm like, man, what's worst can happen? I fuck it up and I got to redo it or pay for someone else who knows what to do. I do that all the time, and I worry about it being a negative thought. But I'm like, well, no, it's not a big of a fucking deal. Who cares? Let's go for it. Especially when I'm taking a risk or something that would be considered even if it's a minor risk. And for me, it helps. I play it out and try to see. Well, if that's the worst that can happen, you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's just money. I'll make more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like when I thought of when I was presenting and it was so intense for me. I mean, presenting is the top two highest fears, I think, in America, above death. And
Wow.
when I actually finally faced it and just went and got in front of a bunch of people, I literally thought I was going to pee my pants, and I let my bladder fill up so much so that I could overcome it and act it out, so that when I was presenting, my body actually changed the chemicals in my body so that it would never happen ever again.
Yeah.
And I would do the very thing, because we're motivated by pain and pleasure, right? So there's pain. If I give myself enough pain about this, I'm going to be motivated toward pleasure. If I have too much pleasure, I'm going to stop pleasing myself and go toward pain. So if we could get rid of all of our pain, even if we need to act it out, then all of a sudden we're just going to pop that little bubble of our mind, that our mind is seriously a phobia. If you, Greg, you need to teach them it's actually for bulimia and anorexia, but you make the problem that you seriously are acting out in phobia, and you make it so big and you keep it going big in your mind, so big, and then you can pop it like a bubble. And like I would really, really recommend you guys getting master trained by Greg, like as soon as possible. I don't know if he has it ready yet. Yeah, good, Jason. But definitely there's some very advanced techniques to get rid of any pain that you have and turn it into a very powerful experience for yourself, where you really become totally unstoppable and limitless. But yeah, acting it out, I think, is really, really good, because then it's like acting. It's not the real thing. You don't have to ever do the real thing. You can act it out and get rid of all those things holding you back. Make it sexy.
I love
Anything
it.
else?
I see Jason just got on the phone. I know when he hops off, I know he had something he wanted to ask. I'm not sure if anyone else in the group, if you guys had any thoughts, comments, feedback, or questions for Camilla while Jason does his call.
Just wrapping up a Zoom call.
Cool. Well, if you guys are wanting any kind of like outside kind of coaching, or you want to know how to harmonize your message and get it more in alignment, make it connect to source, anything like that, I'm just going to put my little calendar link down here. You guys can schedule a little call with me in the next week or two. We can jump on a call and we can go over like what kind of things are holding you back. And I know that, some people have multiple coaches for different types of things. And I'm always honored to speak with you guys with Greg. He's a very dear friend of mine. I see us growing so big together. Eventually, we're always coming together again and again and again. So It's been such an honor to be in front of you guys, and I wish you all the best, and make your message really, really turn you on. Get those things lighting up within you, and really you'll just get out there and not even care, because you'll just be so excited about your message and find out what your why is. Why are you sharing this, and why is it so important to you to do what you're doing? Because that's the motivator. The why is the motivator. And you never know. The biggest personal limitation is not in what you can and can't do. It's actually in the things that you've never considered doing. The not you. So awesome.
Dude, I love this. Jason, what'd you have, brother?
Only if you have time, Camila. You were
Yeah.
talking about having an ego, or talking about egos earlier. Can you give me just, I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Can you give me a high level view of kind of summarization of what you were referring to?
Yeah. So the ego, okay, here's a great way of looking at it. When we shut down our mind of closing things off and saying, I'm not going to learn. I know everything. I blah, blah, blah. You get it, right? Yeah, you get it. When you actually keep the trap open and you're open-minded, it actually opens up the gateway to allowing things to come in, and your ego keeps that shut. So your ego is what keeps you safe even. It does. It wants to keep you safe. So it even represses those negative emotions, right? It represses those beliefs that are so unconscious, of maybe like making you fearful of standing up on stage so that you don't get heckled. That's the ego. So if you can open up the mind and tell your ego, hey, I need you to open up my mind. I'm safe. I'm fine. And you can give me a little fear to amp me up and get me excited. That's how you can use it. Although we don't need fear to motivate us, right? So you can let go of your fears. You can tell your ego, give it a new job. When you give it a new job, a task, it can keep the trap open and identify what those things are that would make it so that you're not safe, and say, ego, how about you take care of these other things to keep me, I'm already safe. Okay, have a conversation. You can even imagine what your ego looks like and have a conversation with it. Give it a name. Maybe it's your own name, another version of yourself. But you can really, really allow it to still embody you and keep you safe, but in the most positive, empowering way. Cool. Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Camilla, I loved your presentation. I'm grateful for you to be here today, and you have definitely. I wrote down a couple pages of notes. What about my message is not lighting me up and turning me on? And then the other idea of like just share my message and just turn on the crowd.
Right.
I loved how you talked about a sign in which we happen to double down on, but assigning my ego a task. Like your task is to look in the room and find my people, like who is lighting up, who needs to hear this. Like any room we go in, if we connect with source, if we channel, if we speak through our passion, like there's always at least one person in that room that's like, what is that?
Or multiple,
So it's
or 100%. What if 100%?
powerful. I loved how you incorporated and made your message sexy today. There were some incredible anchors. I loved the sentence enhancers. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I want to turn the floor back over to you, Camilla, if you have any parting words, and or if anyone else on here has any questions or anything for Camilla. Make sure you guys connect with her outside of this through, most of you may already be, but social media, webs, Camila,
Oh, you're on mute.
thank you so much. I think I touched a button down here. Make sure you're connecting with Camila outside on the social webs and stay in her loop. She does her own webinars, workshops, things of that nature that you guys can connect in and get value from. Thank you, Camila. I'm gonna turn it over to you and anyone else that has anything.
You guys have anything? I'll take you first, and then I got one last thing. Jessica,
Thanks, Camilla.
you're
I don't
welcome.
have anything. You're great.
You too. I have one last thing I want to leave you. And it just slipped my mind. Shoot. Oh. Who are you pretending not to be?
That's powerful.
And when you know who that is, since you all know NLP, take that and take who you are and map it across. And lock it into who you are not being the most magnificent, powerful motherfucker you can be. And step into that. That's all it is. That's stepping in and clicking it in and locking it the fuck down.
Ready to run through a fucking wall.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.
Dude, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Camila.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks,
How
everyone.
about Keys and Peterson for 2024?
Yeah, here we
Yay!
go. I love it. I love it.
Love it.
P
Camila,
squared.
remember your recording wherever, just reminding you, tracking that wherever you need to track that at.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
I'm not in a rush. I'm going to hang around for a few